Hello, welcome to the Craz podcast. My name is H Boy the Man, and I'm here interviewing this amazing artist whom I've been following up for past quite a few years now. The architect Beatz. Tech, how you doing today or tonight, man?
Going on? What's going on? What's going on? How's everything? Trying to fix this camera, get it to focus.
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. You know what I'm saying? Been having a nice little week, you know what I'm saying? And just keep working. I see you working, man. Keep it up, man. Doing pretty good.
Most definitely.
Let me ask you, where are you from originally?
So originally, I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Um, been there all my life, and then yeah, born and raised Brooklyn, New York. Then I joined the military at kind of been all over the world from then on.
Wow. That's funny. I personally tried to join the military myself. I'd say a year and a half ago, I tried to join the Navy. Down in San Diego, I tried to join MEPS and everything. It's quite an experience.
Do you know what happened? Like, or you just
Ah,
didn't
man,
follow
they
through
just
with it?
nah. I tried, but I tried like 2 or 3 times. But you know what I'm saying. You know how stuff happens. Sometimes the universe has different plans for you, and ultimately, I just followed that, and that's I'm just fortunate to be where I am here today. You know what I'm saying. Maybe that'll be an opportunity that'll arise maybe another time.
Out. You-
What is your personal backstory, and how has it affected the way you craft your music?
That's fair. That's fair. My bad. Repeat the question. You cut out a little bit.
What is your personal backstory and how has it affected the way you craft your music?
Hmm. My personal backstory. Oh man, that's a good one. I don't think I've ever been asked that before. So my personal backstory, I put it in a nutshell. So I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Started off like everybody else, wanting to be an artist, wanted to be a rapper, but that wasn't. I could. I was okay with the pen, but I was better doing the technicality of things, right? So I've always had an interest in music, always wanted to learn how to play the piano. I don't know how to read music or anything like that. I know how to play by ear. Um, so I wound up taking that up. And then I want to say I joined the army at 17, where I met a couple of guys that, we're pretty much like family nowadays, or now since back then. It's a solid five of us. You know what I mean? It's like me, boy June, my boy Kush, M Dot, and C4. So we've been solid since we met. We were all into music, and then we kind of like just grew from there. Like we're like family. You know what I'm saying? Like they kids know my kids, my family knows their families. Type vibe. So been in the army 16 years.
Wow.
But yeah, I know a lot of people when they hear that they don't believe it because they always say like I look so young, but it's because I joined the army at 17. You know what I'm saying? This is all I know. Like my whole adult life has been in the military.
No, you
But
know about that pension, man.
oh man, 4 more years, I'm gonna hang it up.
Got it, man.
But for the most part, always been into music. Always been into wanting to know how to play the keys, wanting to know how to make beats. So I want to say for the first, when I really got into music, it was about 2015. I got beats from like 2015 till now. You know what I'm saying? Like I still have those like on a hard drive, and it's like night and day, brother. When you realize the growth. But I was making beats. I started really making beats at 2015, and then after that, I wanted to get into engineering, and we'll probably get into this a little later, but there was a situation that happened when that really forced me into the engineering world. So, but now I've been engineering for about 4 years. So yeah, I've been in the music game since about 2015 now.
It's pretty
About eight
impressive
eight
stuff, man.
yeah 8 solid years, 8 solid years.
Pretty impressive, man. What were your original goals compared to your present goals? Have you succeeded in these? What plans do you have to take to achieve your newer goals as of this time?
So, okay, so in regards to what? Let's try to specify that question because we could speak in a very generic term because my level of success or my definition of success could be completely different from what somebody else's definition of success is. Right? So when you're saying like what were my goals and what aspect are we talking? Are we talking about just life? Are we talking about in the military? Are we talking about music? Like
Let's start with music and then let's break it down.
help me understand. Okay. All right. So my goals in the music scene was just um not really not really accommodate like just I like making music that suits me, you know what I'm saying? That fits me and my type of vibe. Um so I've reached that goal probably 3 times over because I've found different ways of reinventing myself. Um so that was one of the goals. Another goal was having somebody rap on my beats where the song came out actually, pretty solid. And I've reached that goal numerous times over. Um, and then a goal was, and I would say like my final goal that I think I've reached, but it's an ongoing, growing goal, right? Because I like being an engineer. I really enjoy being an engineer. I enjoy making beats, but I really enjoy being an engineer. Um, and that goal is always growing because you could always sharpen your skill as an engineer, sharpen your ear as being an engineer. But now I'm at a place where I'm getting compensated for my work as an engineer, just like I'm getting compensated for my work as a producer and stuff like that. So yeah, I would say I've reached my goals numerous times over. Um, where do I see it going for the future? Consistency, man. I think that's what it is. I don't have a vision of like being a superstar. That's not my goal. I I like having a community that I work with. I like being like people being or referring me to people. You know what I'm saying? Like I like that. I like working with local artists. I like seeing different talents within the city with within any city that I'm in. So yeah, I don't really have like a I want to be in the music industry type of scene type of goal. Like that's not my energy. So
Those are pretty inspiring words. I learned a lot from those things that you've relied upon, man. What about your goals in life?
I want to my goals in life was to have a family, which I have. Being financially stable, which is always a work in progress. You know, with the economy constantly changing, with
24/7.
you know what I'm saying, like so many things are always changing with the economy. So you always gotta try your best to be ahead of the game. Um, my 2 sons, one of my sons, he plays the piano, he makes beats, he makes drill beats at 14. Um, my other son, he plays the piano, or my oldest son plays the piano, guitar, and makes beats. My youngest son plays the piano. So just having a peaceful home, peaceful family. Yeah, I love my life, bro. Like I wouldn't right now at this particular stage, I wouldn't change anything. I love my life.
You're the man, dude. You're the man. How do you record your music as of now? What programs do you use?
All right. So I've gotten into a few. I I like to be a well-oiled machine. So I try my best to be decent at least. Decent and work ethic wise or even workflow wise and as many DAWs as I possibly can be, right? So I use Ableton, I use FL, I use Logic, I engineer in Pro Tools, but I make the majority of my beats in the MPC. Now I've been kind of veering off of the MPC and going into Logic because there's certain things about the MPC software that I don't like. Um, so I'm kind of like if I'm really trying to get a beat done really quick, then yeah, I'll use the MPC because I can make a beat probably in like 10-15 minutes on the MPC because I know it so well. So now I've been kind of veering off into using Logic. It takes a little bit longer, but the more that I practice on it, I'm getting better at it. I'm getting faster at it. Um, but I like a lot of the flexibility that Logic Pro has for making beats. But when it comes to engineering, I only engineer in Pro Tools. I used to engineer in Logic, and this is gonna sound kind of crazy, but I used to engineer in Adobe Audition, even though like it's made for like videos. But once I realized what I needed to have and what I needed to do for engineering, I winded up investing into Pro Tools, and ever since then, I've been on Pro Tools.
Pro Tools definitely set the standard for many things.
Yeah,
There,
agreed.
do you have a specific time and place that you prefer to record your music?
Not really. I could be sitting in here like right now on my big screen, right? On the bigger screen, I'm like watching Dragon Ball Super, right?
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? I'm a big Dragon Ball Z fan.
I love Dragon Ball.
Um, oh yeah, bro. Solid. Um, but right now having a conversation with you could spark something to do later, you know what I mean? Like I could be just laying on my futon, think of a melody or hear something like on Instagram or something that my wife would say or anything, you know what I mean? Like it there's not a specific time of when something happens. Now, if I got some clients around, then I get into the bag and then I get to work. But there's nothing in particular. Like sometimes actually my son, he inspires me. If he like a drill melody, I'd be like, "Oh, you got to send that to me," and then we kind of like work on it together. So it's not really definitive. There's not like a definitive time of when the inspiration strikes.
You involved or have been involved in any form of industrial scene, say music, video, and do you work under any management or have you worked with any management or other collaborations in the past of such sorts?
I have collabed before, but I don't know if we're talking about like trying to. So here's let me set the scene early. I don't want anything to do with the real music industry. I have no desire to be in the music industry. Like the industry that I work is music, but being in the music industry is a whole different thing. Like when you're getting signed to labels or when you're dealing with labels and stuff like that. I have a strong distaste for how they do business, right? That's just how some people may not like it. I understand why people want to work in the music industry and want to work with like bigger entities because here's the difference between working with people locally and then working with like trying to get a placement, like a big placement with like an industry artist. The difference is this. The industry will pay you bigger, but they will take forever to pay you. So they'll give you a big payday, but I don't think people have 9 months to wait for $1,000. You see what I'm saying? That just doesn't make economic or logical sense. Now, the difference between that and working with local artists is that you take a gamble with local artists who are trying to make it, who are trying to find their sound and try to get, you know, associated with themselves, really being in tune with themselves and figuring out what kind of artist they want to be, right? So it's the consistency level, and then on top of that, it's more of a like they'll pay you faster than the industry will pay you. You know what I'm saying? Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yes.
Like like an artist, like it'll take the industry, for example, 9 months, 10 months to pay you $1,000. When in 3 months I could make that being consistent, recording people and doing what I need to do. You see what I'm saying? Like it just doesn't make sense. And nobody else is getting a cut. I don't have any management. I know how to read a contract. If I feel like I've read contracts before, I have contracts that I give to every artist that I work with. Um, so I know how to manage because I've been a manager in the military for so long. So I know what needs to happen. No matter what industry you work in, managing is managing. You get the tools, you get the people, you manage the time, and you manage the task, and you manage the resources of how to make sure those tasks get complete. So it's the same. The blueprint is the same across every industry. It's just how do you use what that industry has and manage it correctly. So I hope that answers your question. I know I kind of like jumped all over the place on that one.
Oh, please do. That was very enlightening, man. You just taught me a lot of things on that current subject, man. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no doubt, bro.
How big, large would you consider your current fan base at this present moment in time, and what extra steps do you have to grow that current fan base that you possess?
So, so I think I have a pretty decent fan base. I maybe on social media it's kind of mediocre, which is fine because it's not like again, social media is not gonna make or break what I got going on, right? So like if all social media just dropped off the face of the earth, it's not gonna stop anything. Like it's not gonna stop any of the people that I have in contact with. Most of the people that work with me, they have my number. If they wanted to work with me, it's super easy to pick up the phone and be like and set a time like and get the work done.
Smart.
Um yeah, so I have like I would like to say I have a decent fan base, and I don't even want to say I have a decent community. I don't like using the word fan base because I feel like when you say fan base, it's more like and most people probably won't take it this way, but I take it this way. It's like they're kind of beneath you, and I don't like that. I don't
Yeah.
like when I work with people, it's more of a collective process. It's more of like a community. I don't I don't like Yeah, it's just weird. But plans for building that, continue doing what I'm doing. Um, Consistency is key because most of the clientele, most of the work that I get done is through word of mouth anyway. And here in Fayetteville, a lot of people know me, believe it or not. Like sometimes, I'll be driving or cause I do Uber too. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I'm all about getting the money, bro. Like, I'm gonna do everything legally to get the bear, to get the bag. But, I picked up it's weird because I picked up a passenger once, and they were like, "Hey, I know you." I was like, "Where you know me from?" It was like, you be going to this so and so studio, don't you?" I was like, "Yeah, when you see me there?" I was like, "Yeah, we saw you playing the keys that one time, bro. Like you hard and all that stuff." Like, so that kind of solidified that my name started to travel a little bit. Like my vision started to travel, or not my vision, but my visibility, my face card started to travel a little bit. So I'm just doing what I'm doing, bro. I'm having fun with this. I'm enjoying my time building a community, working with people on a regular basis. Like that's all I'm doing, man. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm just enjoying my time. I'm on my time. I'm not rushed. I don't rush nothing. I believe in synchronicity, bro. Like things are gonna fall into place when they
Yeah.
need to fall into place, exactly when they need to fall into place.
Yeah.
Why stress about anything in between?
Me, it's all spiritual, as you said. I like that word that you just spoke on synchronicity. I believe that it's
Yeah.
really a small world, and it's like me personally, in my experiences, as I grow further and further, venture deeper into this music. It's just crazy how you see how small the world is and how people actually view
Yeah.
progress and view everything. It's funny because I remember I went to the studio in LA one time, right? And there was this person who
Yeah.
looked at me from across the street. I saw him. Turns out I'm in this server, I'm in this community, in this voice chat, whatever. I'm talking. I talk about my experience, like, oh, I was in LA, such and such, and you know what I'm saying. And he said, oh, I saw you there. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what, bro? I'm like, it's just a small world. It's crazy how things just come into place like that.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, it's a super small world, but it's a fulfilling one. If you know how to move and you do the right things and you're in the right places, you're around the right people. Like I never surround myself around things that are compromising. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna do what I can to keep the energy good, good vibes only. Like I'm a firm believer in having a good vibe and good energy around the room. Like I know how to read the room. I've been there, done that. I briefed generals. I've briefed lieutenant colonels, like sergeant majors. Like so, being and understanding what the room looks like and how to read it. I've been doing that for probably like 15 years now.
It's all positive energy, and it's all about following your heart and what you truly want, not what other people want you to do, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Do you have any form of clothing line, merchandise, or any other sort of product that you were able to sell to your fan base? And where can they access your products as of now? Your community.
All right. So I do have a website, thearchitectbeats.com. I don't have any merch yet, but I'm working on getting my LLC to get I want to make sure that before I even start selling anything, I want all the admin data, all the business stuff that needs to be handled because that administrative data, trademarking or yeah, trade marketing and all that stuff, like all that stuff is important. Like I feel like a lot of people they don't they 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 have a brand, which is cool. They have a couple of pieces of merchandise that they want to sell, which is also not a problem. But when somebody, if that stuff is not trademarked and somebody later on trademarks that, then you wind up having to pay that individual who trademarked that particular symbol or brand. And I feel like a lot of people don't know that. So I'm getting all of the administrative data, all those details taken care of. That way, if somebody does try to hit me with a lawsuit, I have all the supporting documentation to protect me. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So clothing is coming soon. Merchandise is coming soon. Beat packs, like um, all my beats are on YouTube. Well, most of them are on YouTube. I kind of stopped uploading on YouTube. Um, I'm dealing more with like one-on-ones right now. But the beats that I've had in the past, they're on uh they're on my website, thearchitectbeats.com.
Impressive, man. Impressive. When was the first time you released a song or album?
Oh wow. Okay. So the first time I personally released a project, me personally, I'll tell you right now. This on my distro kid. Give me 1 second. Let me log into this thing. Um, I want to say it was May 1st.
That's my birthday.
I could be wrong though. Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Uh, let me see. This project is on the release. Oh, I'm sorry, March 25th. My bad. So I uploaded it on the 25th of March and then it got released on the 27th of March. Um, right now the project is as a collective has over 100,000 streams. I'm still promoting it, still submitting it to playlists and stuff like that. So
Wow.
that was my very first project that I released. Now, songs that I have produced was released way before then. So there's songs that were released. um, as early as 2022. Um, yeah, there was a few songs out there already that people had already released with my work on there.
As for those first projects that you released, you said they were released around the end of March. Was that of this year?
Yeah, of this year. Mhm.
How would you define your genre of music? How would you define
Soulful,
soulful?
soulful. That's my that I don't know what it is, man. It might be a New York thing. It might be a Brooklyn thing. It might be of like the experiences that I had in my existence, being 33 and being alive for 33 years and seeing the things that I've seen, being a part of the lives that I was a part of, dealing with people a certain way. So I realized like the world right now, it needs more soulful stuff. You know what I'm saying? Where sometimes it allows people to speak about their pain in a way that is, reflective to, or, people can relate to, it's relatable to other people. Um, Now can I make dark trap stuff? Yeah, that stuff is easy, bro. I can make a dark trap beat in like 7 minutes, bro. Like I clocked it once. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause those beats are super easy to make. But when you're playing the keys and you're trying to do something soulful, that takes a little bit more intricacy, a little bit more, focus. So I like to, if I had to put a genre on it, it would be soulful music.
Where do you see yourself going with your career and maybe say around 1 year from now?
Um, bigger fan base, bigger fan base, more consistent fan base. I would say that. Uh, Probably in the next year, I would probably be renting out a studio room to do my business full time, like to do this because the army is very taxing on your time. But um, yeah, I think I'll have a studio room working towards building my own studio or getting a building from the state and actually building a studio around there where I own it. I own the equipment. I pay the rent. People come in there. It's a good vibe. It's chill. It's stuff like that. Through scheduling and stuff like that, all that stuff. So I would say probably in the next year or two, um, I'll probably have my own studio room.
Are there any unusual talents or hidden talents that may help you in your career that you personally possess? Say, for example, are you able to draw, code, things of that nature?
I used to draw. Um, I wouldn't one. Well, I'll say this. I've been working on making lately. Because a lot of people they offer those services and stuff like that. I like doing the most cost effective thing. I like to be a jack of all trades. You know what I'm saying? I may not be perfect in just one, but I would rather be well rounded in many. You know what I'm saying? Where that's one of the reasons why I learned how to engineer on Pro Tools because Pro Tools is not the industry standard specifically for the sound. Pro Tools is the industry standard because in any level of the industry, any studio room you go to, that's what they're recording on. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like you got your onesies and twosies where people are recording on FL or Logic. Some people even record in Ableton, which is like crazy to me, but people do it
Ableton is up and
and they
coming.
make it happen. They get the
Ableton is up and coming.
yeah, yeah, for sure. The job can get done. As long as the job can get done, that's cool. But when you, as an Ableton user, right? If you're an Ableton user and you try to go, let's say, for example, because I've been in rooms with stars before, you know what I mean? Like I've been in, I don't want to name names, but I've been in rooms with people who are in the industry, you know what I'm saying? And um I didn't know how to use Pro Tools once, and that put me in a bind, like a really bad bind, and I almost burned a bridge in 10 minutes that somebody had built in 3 years. I almost burned that bridge because I didn't know how to engineer on Pro Tools. So, it was at that moment I thought to myself, like, "That would never happen again." I would never put myself in a compromising position like that ever, ever again. So, at one point, for like 9 months, close to a year, I stopped producing. I stopped making beats, and I learned how to operate on Pro Tools. I know how to build templates on Pro Tools. I know how to step in any studio, open up a Pro Tools session, and work with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's a skill that every producer needs to have. Every producer needs to learn how to operate on Pro Tools, because if you don't, you're gonna be put in a position where you're gonna have to, and you're gonna lose that opportunity, and it's gonna hurt. Trust me.
Yeah. We live and we learn, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes, as you mentioned before, synchronicity, maybe that was just the universe's way to put you to the next level, which required you to study Pro Tools. And maybe the universe, I believe, put you in a position where it gave you that shock factor where it motivated you to learn the necessary skills required to move on to the next level.
For sure. 100%. 110%.
How has the internet influenced your work as an artist compared to, say, a traditional artist maybe back in the 70s or the 60s?
One of the biggest things is the ability to work when you're not in the same room. But here's the give and take, because everything has duality, right? When there's light, there's darkness. When there's hot, there's cold, right? So you have the internet, okay? You have the internet, which makes it easy for people to connect with each other. But the gamble is that the other person on the other side is going to deliver when they say they're going to deliver. That's the gamble. It's because back in the day, in the 70s, 80s, and even the 90s, when people were in the studios, you had no choice but to work because you were all in the same room, and it started to cost people money. Now people have the ability to record themselves, send the sessions off, but then you have to wait as an engineer like myself. You have to wait on the other individual to get the job done. So that's the give and take. So the give, like the plus side is that you can, work with people who don't live in the same state or potentially even the same country. But the downside is you have to believe that they're doing the right thing and delivering when they're saying they're going to deliver. That's the part that is the troubling part that you got to work with.
Makes sense. Of all the songs you have created or all the projects that you have engineered up to this point, which one is your favorite one that means a lot to you personally?
Mm, I have a few. That's hard, bro. That is a hard one. Oh man, you put me on the spot
Gotta
on
hit it
that
when
one.
it hurts, man.
Cause the, yeah. um. So okay, I will say my top. I'll give you my top five.
Sure.
All right, I'll give you my top five. My first one is "Bad Man" by Kush. That's one of the songs that I worked on with him. Um, what other one? There's a project coming out soon with my boy M. Dot, and the first track on that is one of my favorites now. Um, so that's another one. The title, hold on, let me get the title of that real quick. So Badman is number one. the Sweet Pen or no, that's not it. Carolina Blue Laces. Look out for that. That's coming soon. That's one of my favorites right now. So that's 2. You have So Much Pain by Merrick City. Lost by Launcher Boy, which is one of my favorites, so that's 4. And then um Down by New Yonkers.
Mm.
That's one of my favorite ones. So those are my top 5 right now.
Can't wait for the release, man. For the ones that you said that we're gonna drop soon, I can't wait for those.
Yeah.
But is there any part of your craft and your creativity that you don't do, like of your project covers, or if you do, and what are the names of those artists that design covers for your projects?
So for every project that I've released or every song that I've done, I've done the cover art. I don't go out of my I don't everything I do is
Just like me.
in-house, right? I yeah.
So that's fine.
Everything I do is in-house. Um and the reason being is because I want artists who come to me, they understand like this is a one-stop shop. I try my best to make it a one-stop shop. So people come here, they record, I mix their vocals, I produce their beats if that's what they want. Um yeah, like everything is a one-stop shop, bro. Like here. If I have to, I will go to M8 Designs. They are one of the best that I think I've ever worked with. They're reliable. These guys have done a lot of some work for me in the past, but for the most part, I like to do my stuff in house.
Pretty impressive, man. Not a lot of people have that ability. They definitely
Yeah.
take advantage. Is there anyone in specific that has meant a lot to you and your music career, such as family, favorite artists in general that have influenced you or inspired you?
Yeah, my wife for sure, my 2 boys for sure. That's a given. They inspire me every day to be better. Um, my group is called Crew Official. Um, these are my guys. Um, and honestly, man, if I'm being candid, everybody that I've worked with, I've never had a negative encounter with people that I've worked with. Every single one of the individuals that I've worked with have it's always been an honor and a blessing, bro, because there for every person that I get, I always think to myself like that's somebody that another person is not being able to work with. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like that's how I see it. So I'm always honored. I always count my blessings. You know what I'm saying? Like I try my best to live my life like this, bro. If you and 5 other people who know me, but all 5 of you don't know each other, all 5 of you will be able to say the same thing about me.
Wow.
That's how I like to live my life.
Straight gems, man.
That's yeah, that's how I like to live my life, bro. Because the version of me that you're getting is the same version that everybody else gets. That way there's no leaving room for guessing. There's no room in trying to figure out what I'm gonna do next, what kind of person I am. Am I the type of person that's gonna, you know, cut your legs from under you? Am I gonna backstab you? Am I gonna do like nobody that you could contact any one of the people that I follow, any one of them at random, and I guarantee you they will all say the same thing about me. All of them. Because I don't change. I work well, I try my best to do good business with people, and that's it.
Flawless, man. Absolutely flawless, man. This is one of the most interesting podcasts and conversations I've had in a while. Thank you, Architect. Thank you so much for that.
Nah, I'm humbled to just be here,
Thank you,
brother.
man. Is there anything you want to say and make heard to those who listen to you or is listening to this podcast at this time? And are there as well any shout outs you want to mention?
Yeah, shout out to my guys, Doc, C4, June, Kush. Shout out to my wife, my kids. Shout out to my boy Gary Too Scary. He's also one of the best engineers in North Carolina, like ever. I learned a lot from him. Shout out to Who Is Jay Beats from Gas and Beats. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of people that work with me, bro, that that been there through thick and thin. Whenever I had issues, I could vent to and talk to. I believe I have like a strong community of people around me. Shout out to my guy A Boogie. We had a we had a rough go around, but we're good now. So if he hears this one day, he don't feel left out because he's pretty solid. He a pretty solid guy. Um, One of the things I do want to put out, and for anybody who decides to follow me in the future or like try to keep up with what I'm doing, every year I'm trying to put out 4 projects a year, right? Every year, every project is going to be 10 new artists. So, for example, if I released a project with 10 artists this month, for example, the next project, those 10 artists aren't going to be on the next project. It's going to be a brand new 10 individuals. And I'm trying to do that every year. I'm trying to do that 4 times a year. Um, they don't have to pay for the instrumentals. They don't have to pay for the studio time. They don't have to pay for the marketing. They don't have to pay for the promotion. They don't have to pay for the cover art. All they have to do is record. That's why if you seen on my Instagram post, one of the projects got canceled, it was because some artists just didn't take advantage of the time that we had, and it kind of screwed up the whole project. So then I just canceled it. But there's more coming. But that's what I like to do. I like to because it's gonna help build a community of artists for me. And I wanted to do something that was completely different from what other producers are doing. Cause I don't know any producer doing what I'm doing right now. And that's not to like pat myself on the back or beat my chest or anything. It's just I don't see anyone doing this.
Wow. Architect Beats, thank you for your time at the Crazebox Anchor. We hope to see you again. We appreciate you and all the support from all of our viewers worldwide. My name is H Boy the Man. For additional information about the Crazebox Anchor, please check the description below. Thank you and have a great rest of your day.